Several attorneys general making major announcements this hour about the nationwide mortgage mess. CNBC's own Diana Olick joins us with the new details. Hello, Diana.
Hi, Larry. That's right. 49 AGs just officially announcing an investigation specifically targeting Bank of America, JP Morgan Chase, and Wells Fargo, although I'm sure there will be others. Alabama apparently not part of the list. We're not sure why. We did put in the call. We'll let you know when we find out. Iowa's Attorney General Tom Miller, who's heading the group, says they are focused on robo-signing. But beyond that is what those signers may have covered up. That is, who owns these mortgages and were vital papers lost in their trading. Miller said they could go down that road as well.
If we do get into other issues, we're going to be conscious that we don't want to take the whole economy down. We don't want to take the housing market down. We're responsible people, the attorney generals and the banking regulators, and we know that there are implications for everything we do, and we try and do what we think is right and just and fair at the time.
Now, this morning, JP Morgan's Jamie Dimon said his bank was going through over 115,000 mortgages in 41 states, checking to make sure things were signed correctly. He claims they can clear things up quickly, but most believe foreclosures could be on hold for a very long time, which one home builder actually sees as a temporary plus.
For new homes, even existing homes, it should get a little bit better short term. Longer term, that means you prolonging the market clearing. I mean, one school of thought is let the market clear, get these homes through, the foreclosures through, and get them out of the system. That's short term painful, long term better. So, it's a pick your poison issue right now.
But no question, this scandal is already spooking the housing market. Mortgage applications to buy a home fell 8.5% last week, and they're now 37% below a year ago. This despite record low interest rates, which are fueling a jump in refis. Larry?
All right, Diana, thank you very much. So, will the foreclosure mess kill any hope of a housing recovery? Let's ask Susan Wachter, real estate professor at the Wharton School of Business, Adam Leitman Bailey, real estate attorney. Susan, start with you. All right, quick question. Is it going to kill recovery? And should this foreclosure meltdown cause a total moratorium? I want you to address that. Are we overrating this moratorium issue?
There is no recovery in the housing market. The recovery is slow to moribund. There is very slight price increases, and there was, of course, tremendous number of foreclosures. With a slowdown in foreclosures, and I expect this will lead to a slowdown in foreclosures, at least in the short run, there still will be no recovery in the housing market until jobs recover.
Well, let's talk about some of those reasons why, Susan. I mean, essentially, if these homes are locked up in the foreclosure process, that means they are not on the market. Does that mean we're artificially seeing the market being essentially inhibited by the fact that the real supply is not actually out there?
Well, there is truth in the fact that foreclosure supply has slowed down over this last year somewhat, and we saw that in Q2 numbers. But nonetheless, homes are still selling. There are still foreclosures that are coming to the market, and even without foreclosures, homes will come to the market. And I don't expect we're going to see significant price rises, even with a decline in foreclosures.
Adam, if we keep people in their homes temporarily, if we put a moratorium on these foreclosures, what are the odds that any of that becomes permanent? I mean, are we keeping families in their homes, as a lot of people say, or are we just delaying what will happen when this is cleared up 3 or 4 months down the road?
Yes, these are gamblers. The people in the homes took out mortgages they couldn't afford. So they're the only winners. They're the ones that are extremely excited.
But how long will they be able to stay? I mean, is there a chance that they're going to find a job, get it together, and by the time the moratorium is lifted, they'll be able to stay in their house and they will have been saved? People are selling that scenario. No, there's not a chance that's true.
Most of these people took out mortgages they could never have afforded. They cannot afford to catch up. Otherwise, if they could afford to catch up, they'd be under the HAMP program that the president has put in place, whereby they would be able to modify their mortgages and have reasonable rates. Because they weren't able to do that, it shows their credit is bad, and they don't have a shot at actually coming back and being in the market where they have a chance of actually surviving in the home.
Susan, is that true? Do you agree with that? Because that's one of the myths out there, and I want to make sure it's not true.
Well, of course, we don't know what's going to happen in the future of the economy. People could get their house in order, so to speak, and the finances could get better. But there are foreclosures. It's a misnomer to think there are no foreclosures going on right now. There are, and there are those entities who think that they have their paperwork and the process is in hand. Of course, that's going to be an interesting next part of the story. How deep does the problem go?
So, Adam, let me ask you this. People are saying that regarding the foreclosures, most of those properties have been vacated. There's no one living in the homes. And if that's true, and if honest people who are paying are not being damaged by this paperwork mess, then why do we need to impose a moratorium? Why not let everybody just kind of work through this piece by piece?
The moratorium in the short term is a good idea because we need to get our act together. We need trust in our banking system. So if we are making mistakes, we need to clear them. But the mistakes aren't big. People are misunderstanding that. There's simply bad record keeping. There's simply bad signatures. We need to hurry up and fix it and get the foreclosures through. Compare this to
why is that so important, Adam?
Because if you don't have people, as Larry just said, if you have people in homes or they're abandoned homes and they can't afford them, if we get them on the market, we could actually get people to spend money that can afford to buy homes buying them.
See, but Susan, the issue is coming up that some people have been damaged by this paperwork snafu, okay, by the fraud, whatever you want to call it. Some people who are legitimately in their homes and are paying on time have been displaced. Do you know of any cases where that is the case?
Personally, I don't, but I don't doubt that there are some cases like that. But the problems go much deeper. They really go to the issues of private securitization. Although the attorneys general, from what I've heard, really didn't quite go there, that's really the question that's on the table. The real deep question on the table is not the simple paperwork errors, but what, if anything, was behind those paperwork errors.
The MBS model, the mortgage-backed securities securitization model has to be reworked. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly.
And that's not true, because I'm in this. We do this for a living. We do foreclosures. We represent banks, we represent title companies. It's very simple. The MERS system created incredible sophistication in how mortgages were sold and bought and assignments, and the record keeping is very bad. It's a simple process of clearing that up, and the problem is there are mistakes. We need to fix them. We should have done it a long time ago. But by clogging the system, it's like having a toilet that's clogged up with waste, and now instead of pushing it out, it's staying where it is, and the smell is really bad.
Yeah.
That's one way to put it.
Yeah. To end on, Adam.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much.
And